Hi everyone! In this video, we're going to jump back into a project, an engagement photo project that I started last year with my daughter Katie and son-in-law James, and this layout here. And since the secret garden supplies that we need to create this layout are now on clearance, they're at an amazing savings over on my website. I wanted to come back and take a look at this and do some more projects with it with you. So what do you say? Let's get started. I'm going to cut up some paper, so I just wanted to show you how I was going to do that. I have this big floral sheet, and I'm going to cut that at 10 inches in height. So I have already done that, and that's when I decided I should really do this on video. So I've cut off this little piece, and I have a piece that's 10 inches tall now. I'm going to just turn this, and I'm going to cut this right down the middle. So we're going to get two 6-inch pieces. So I'm lining it up at 6 inches, and there is our first set of cuts. I'm also working still with the country wood paper. I did that initially. And so I want to make a couple more cuts. So I need to cut two pieces out of this sheet, and this is a 12 by 12 sheet, and we need to make it 6 by 11. So I'm just trying to decide which way I want to have the paper running. And I think I do want to keep it this way. So I need to trim 1 inch off of either the top or bottom. So I'm just going to turn this because I'm going to prefer to have the wood grain running from side to side instead of up and down. So this is the way that I have to cut it. So we got that little 1 inch piece. And I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to put this into the paper trimmer as well on the 6 inch mark. And I'm going to trim that. If you see this little gray blade down here, this is just my paper scorer, and it keeps getting in my way. It doesn't hurt that it slides up and down sometimes. Okay, so we now have two 6 by 11 inch pieces. So we'll add that to our stack. And then I need 2 more pieces of cardstock. One I need cut. I need a 3-inch width by 12 inch tall. And I actually need the little zip strip attached. So I'm going to cut this at 3 1/2 inches total from the zip strip. So I'm going to line this up on the 3 1/2 inch mark for my first one. Move the blade up to the top, drop it. So I've got one piece, and then with my leftover other piece, this one, I need 6 inches plus the zip strip. So I need 6 1/2 inches total. So I'll move this over to the 6 1/2 inch mark. And I'm going to make the cut on this as well. And can you believe it? That is the bulk of the big cutting. So we're going to work on our left page first, and then we'll jump over to the right page. I want to show you how easily this layout will come together. So I'm just going to pull in the pieces that I need here for my left side. So I need one of the wood pieces. I need one of the floral pieces, and then I need the smaller of the 2 pieces that we've cut. Let me just turn this over. I could have gone with a warmer wood tone, but I really do like the whitewashed pickled wood kind of look here. And I'm just going to put this down, just going to center this. I'm going to give it about a 1/2 inch on the top, the bottom, and the left side. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue our floral piece down. We're going to put this in, I would say about 3/4 of an inch from the edge of this wood grain, and then about a 1/2 inch from top and bottom. Again, I'm just centering it. And then there's just one last piece to put down as our base. And we have our left page going, and that's going to get a few photo mats. I'm thinking it's going to go something like this. We'll see. Got some adhesive on my finger there. But let's make the right hand page. It's pretty much the same thing now, but we're going to just do it a little different. This time, the big periwinkle piece is going down first. Some of the other layers are going to overlap it. So again, these Secret Garden pieces are available through me as a former close to my heart maker. You can order them right through my website. I'll link all the products that I've used down below in this video's description. And go ahead and put this on. If you have any trouble ordering, let me know. I'd be very happy to help. And I'm going to put this down as well, equal distance, about a 1/2 inch in from the right edge, top and bottom. And I'm actually using this. This is a modified sketch that I'm doing here from the Creative Design Team's Volume 2 sketchbook, 12 by 12 sketchbook. And this is a design that I created, but like I said, I'm modifying it just a bit because I have a certain, certain image in my mind that I want to stick to. And so I'm just going to make a few changes here so it suits my needs better. I've laid down and adhered a few photo placeholders, photo mats right now. And what I did was I started on this left page and I went down 2 inches from the top edge and I came in 1.5 inches and I put down my first 4x6 photo mat. And then I just went about 1/4 inch to the left and put down my second. Now, I love lining things up. So this photo mat, I also came down 2 inches from the top and stuck this one down 1/4 inch and put this one. I came in about 1/2 inch or so from the edge. That's not really that important of a measurement, but in case you need the measurements as a guide, that will help. And when I cut up my shaded 12 by 12 periwinkle paper, I cut it in half into 2 6-inch pieces and then cut 3 photo mats out of each side. So I had 6 photo mats, 4x6 photo mats in total. So I'm trimming down my photos a little bit. Now that left me, you see 4 on here, that left me with 2 extras. One of them I took and cut in half, and I've used that to make photo mats for smaller 3x4 photos that I've trimmed just a bit. So let's get these photos on. These are the photos that I decided to go with. I went with photos that all featured this beautiful bridge in the background. And that was my thought on doing this layout. So I'm going to glue these down really quickly. Now I'm just going to line this photo up right below this one here. And I'm going to take this photo and I'm going to line it up right next to this one. Now that leaves me one 4x6 square of paper that I'm going to take our layered Florals 3D embossing folder. I'm going to put this into the machine. I'm going to emboss it, and then we're going to cut it in half. And I'm going to use it to anchor some embellishments with our floral dies. If you've not seen the first video, this is my set of Secret Garden floral dies, and I love this set. So I'm going to get busy cutting some flowers. I'm going to cut them out of some colors that coordinate here. And once I come back with those flowers and this piece, I'm going to show you how to put together, how to ink up one of these flowers, how to put it together, and we'll just finish up with embellishing our layout. I've started to pre-ink some of my little paper cutouts using the Secret Garden dies, and I just wanted to show you what I'm doing. So I have the leaves and I have some sage ink. They're cut out of sage, and that's a close to my heart color, and I just go around just the bottom of the leaves. So I've done that with all of the leaves, including these. I just do the bottom of the set of leaves here. You can always add more color if you're not happy. Now let's look at these little flowers here, right here. So that is actually the beginning to a bigger flower. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to pull in here's the 3 layers to make the bigger flower that you see here. So we can do just the top 2 layers and make this, or we can do all 3 and make this. And they're made in the same manner. So I'm just going to slide up those leaves, open up my periwinkle ink, and I'm going to just ink up the center of this middle flower quite generously. I'm going to ink up the little flower a little less, a little more subtly. Won't press as hard, but this center one is going to get covered, so I want to give it a little more ink. Now, let me close this up for a moment. and I'm going to show you how I put these together. It is simply this littlest piece. We put a piece of foam tape down on top of the back. This is cut out of light linen. And then I just go ahead and put this little piece on top of the mid piece. And now you can see I've created these littler flowers, but I can just simply add another piece of foam tape to the back of this and adhere it to this bigger flower. I'm going to just twist this a bit, I think like that. And now I have the bigger flower that you see here. So if you want to just cut out 2 layers, you get the little one. If you want all 3, you get the bigger one. Hope that makes sense. Now to make this flower, it's much the same. You have 3 sizes that you cut out, and we're going to ink the middle one the most generously, like so. And then this littlest one, we're just going to give some ink down on the bottom. Could not be simpler. There are also these little clusters of blooms, and those are cut out of 2 pieces on our die set. You cut this out of sage, you cut this out of linen, and then the pieces fit together. So you'll see when you punch them out, when you die cut them out, that the little pieces overlay the stem. So you can even keep them in here. If they've not fallen out, you can use this and pick up piece by piece as a guide. That might be a little easier for you. So I put together 2 of those little clusters. So I've got this little pile of flowers. Let me just hook this one together, and then we will get to putting these onto our layout. So much fun. So this one I kind of arrange all the time so that the middle layer is kind of resting between these 2 outer pieces of the bigger petal back here. I just like the way that that looks. You can do this however you'd like. This is just how I've done it to match the Secret Garden paper. And then this one I just kind of bring down a bit, and voila, we have our flower. So I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'm going to bring our layout back in, and we're just going to build. I've brought our layout back into frame here. Much like I promised, I took the remaining 4x6 photo mat that I had, and I embossed it with that embossing folder, cut it in half. So I've got 2 3x4s, and I really thought that this would make a great addition to the layout here and here. And those are going to serve as anchor points for a couple of our flower clusters. So let's glue those down first. I've simply spaced them to make a little plus sign here on both layouts. I like these little textural elements on top of the flatter cardstock. I just feel like it gives just another layer of interest to our layout. And now I just need to figure out what flowers I'm going to use. I have all of the flowers, and I do think that we'll just anchor the bigger ones down using some foam tape. So I'm going to start with this flower right here. This one is going to go up here. And then I've got some smaller ones here, and I'm just going to put a few of these up here too. Maybe one there. See if one more will fit. If not, that might be good. I'm going to anchor a big flower. Maybe I'm going to put that off just a little bit and let that decorative element shine for a moment. Let's see what happens if we arrange a couple of leaves. The bigger leaves right there. So I'm just going to adhere that with a little bit of glue. Sneak those under. I think the bigger leaves look great trailing out onto the page because they are big enough to show a little contrast when it comes to this really busy floral paper. And then I'm going to tuck some of the little leaves in there too. And I'm thinking this is going to go kind of that way. I think that looks pretty. Let's put our other big flower or 2 down here. How about like that? Very pretty. And let's look at some possibilities when it comes to putting leaves on these. Maybe something like this. Oh, I do think that's pretty. And then maybe one more leaf right there. It's looking good so far. This is how I was hoping it would go. And then, you know what? Let's do the same. Let's make this a bigger cluster up here. Let's put a leaf there, and there we go. think that'll be pretty. We'll put that down. I'll adhere that down with some liquid glue. And then that leaves us a few more pieces over here that I've punched out or cut out of my die cutting machine. I don't know why I keep saying punched out, but I think that maybe this would look like a pretty arrangement. This one's staying there, and there it is. That's the one I was hoping to see. Something like that, maybe. Let's see what happens if we add one more. I think I'm going to add that last one right in there. Just one more little one. So I kind of like that arrangement. I like that we have 3 flowers, 2 flowers, 1 flower, and the clusters. I think that's kind of fun. This is what I've been using for my titles. These are white frame overlays that are really, I did some stash diving to find these. These are from Close to My Heart, and I love these because they say things on them like this moment, and I can put that over my photo. I think that that is just such a beautiful way to highlight a photo. And what you need to know about these is that they'll have a backing on one of the pieces. You'll feel it when you put your nail on it. And generally they're wrinkled. That one wasn't, so it was a little harder to grab, but it just protects the back of this, and I can glue this down with a dot of liquid glass. There are also some smaller ones. We've got pretty ones that look like they are like it's just lights dripping from the trees. That would be really pretty there. I think that's a really good balance. Some of the little ones will have sayings like love this. I could put that on here. I just think it's a bit much. I just really want one big one for each page. And then I've always been digging through these, and as I'm digging through, I'm finding some that have little floral elements. And those I like too, because I feel like they're subtle. They're not words. So I've just been trying to balance out the words with some floral accents. We're back, and I have adhered down all of our leaves. I have our photo overlays in place. We have 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. I like having 3 of them on the layout. This one is going to act as my title. I don't want a big bold title on the layout, so that is my subtle way to add a title. And I've also brought in this roll of beautiful satin ribbon. It's very vanilla, and it is just gorgeous. And I have made a bow out of it, and I've adhered the bow down to this floral cluster. I decided to keep it within the cluster so that I really did have 1, 2, 3 true clusters of embellishments on this layout. One thing I found is that it's great to work with a pair of fabric scissors if you have them. And so I keep a pair of fabric scissors, and that helps me get these crisp edges when I cut my ribbon. Just a helpful hint. So let's lift up the layout. I'm going to carefully lift up the left page first. And I love that we have the 3 flowers here. They all go together. It's like a cluster that's just starting to bloom here and one in full bloom. I love that we have 3 of the same. And then this one, we have the 2 different flowers, but we went from 3 to 2. And now we have this one cluster right here. And I just love the way that that looks. I love the satin bow. It just adds a little layer of elegance. The embossing with that embossing folder, just spectacular. I can't tell you how much I've loved playing with this paper so far. One other thing that you could do that I did not do on this is you could simply curl the edges too of your flowers just a little bit if you wanted them to look a little bit more lifelike. And so that's something that I did not do yet, but something that you could definitely do. I'm not promising that it'll stay this way in your layout, in your album, but it looks pretty for now. And I do like the way that that looks. You could always put this into a shadow box and keep that dimension if you chose to make a wedding layout or something other that, you know, some other layout that you were really attached to that you wanted to keep on your wall so that you could see it at all times. So I will go ahead and link a few things down in this video's description. I will link the products that I've used that are currently still available. I will link the sketchbook from the creative design team down below. I'll put a link where you can see all of our sketchbooks, but this is one sketch that I used as a jumping off point. Like I told you, I moved things around, I made it my own, but this is what you can expect from a sketch that you can create beautiful layouts with our sketchbooks. So I'll link that down below. And I will also link the previous video where I showed how to scrapbook big photos like the first layout here had. And this way you can get more paper crafting fun. You can learn how to do more layout techniques with the same paper and using the same flowers. So thanks for stopping by this channel. If you've liked this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you've not yet done so, consider becoming one of my subscribers so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and have a creative day.